Service with words of gratitude for the blessing of celebrating together, of celebrating Shabbat. We'll turn in our Sidurim to page 99, the words Modeh Ani.
Modeh Ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam Modeh Ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam Modeh Ani lefanecha Modeh Ani lefanecha Modeh Ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam Modeh Ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam Modeh Ani lefanecha Modeh Ani lefanecha Modeh Ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam Modeh Ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam Modeh Ani lefanecha Modeh Ani lefanecha.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome. Community requires a sense of mutuality, of shared respect that is both affirmative, that comes forward with care and concern, and also that refrains, that steps back. And we're going to be talking about that a little bit later in my Dvar Torah. But we start our service with a kavanah, an intention setting. You'll find it on page 102. At the very bottom of the page, a central idea of Judaism, to love one another as you love yourself. V'ahavta l'recha kamocha. So let's join together in the words at the bottom of page 102.
Hareini mekabel alai et mitzvat haborei ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha reacha kamocha. Hareini mekabel
course, we're celebrating with Talia Wall and her family as she becomes a bat mitzvah. And to become a bat mitzvah in the Jewish community means to take on the emblems and the practices of adulthood in the Jewish community, to literally take on the mantle of leadership, the talit that represents the covenant of God and the Jewish people. Its fringes the mitzvot that we look upon those tzitzit and are reminded of every day. And so we're going to invite Talia forward to receive her talit from her dad and to put it on. So come on forward, guys. So as I said, the Torah instructs us to tie tzitzit to the corners of our garment so that you, Talia, will look upon them and be reminded of the mitzvot. When you wrap yourself in your talit, may you be surrounded by the loving embrace of God.
Today you take responsibility for your own practice of mitzvot. Becoming a b'nai mitzvah means that the Torah is yours in a new and deeper way, yours to learn and to teach, to question and to celebrate. May we, your community and your family, be a blessing for you as you are a blessing for us. Today, as you reach the age of mitzvah, you mark a milestone in your transition to adulthood.
As I stand here holding my talit, I am ready and willing to take on the mitzvot as a Jewish young adult. I promise to take seriously my Jewish obligation to take care of others and to take care of our earth. I promise that I will never stop learning.
Talia, we invite you to be present in this moment, surrounded by those who love you, celebrating this milestone with community in the presence of God. May the sweetness of this day stay with you as you walk the road ahead toward becoming more truly the person you are meant to be. Go ahead and take hold of your talit as you say the blessings.
This is a very special talit made from a shawl that was a favorite of Talia's mom. Say a blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu
Yitatef.
lehitatef b'tzitzit.
Amen.
Mazel tov. And now you are ready to take your role in leadership. And so we're going to invite you to lead us in the morning blessings. And we'll ask the congregation to please rise. We're on page 103 as we join together in morning blessings.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan l'sech bivina lechavhin ben yom uven laila.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, who enables the bird to distinguish day from night.
Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam, shesani b'tzomo.
Who made me in the divine image.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shesani
Who
b'torim.
made me free.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shesani Yisrael.
Made me a Jew.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivri.
Give sight to the blind.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim.
Who clothes the naked.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, matir
Who
asurim.
releases the bound.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim.
Strengthens those who are bent.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, roka haaretz al
Who
hamayim.
stretches out the earth over the water.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamekim tzadek aver.
Steadies our steps.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shesali kol
Who has
tzorki.
provided for all my needs.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Ozer Yisrael
He
b'gvura.
strengthens the people Israel with courage.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Oter Yisrael
He
b'tifara.
crowns the people Israel with glory.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Hanoten le'alef koach.
Who gives strength to the weary.
Amen.
Utnenu hayom v'chol yom lechein u'leresep u'lerachamim b'einecha. U'einei kol ro'enu v'tik malenu chasadim tovim. Baruch atah Adonai, gomel chasadim tovim le'amo Yisrael.
Amen.
We remain standing as we turn to page 122 for the opening of Psukkah de Zimra.
Baruch Shemo, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo, Baruch Shemo, v'hayam ha'olam. Baruch Shemo, v'hayam ha'olam. Baruch Oseh Bereshit. Baruch Omer Oseh. Baruch Gozer U'Mehayem. Baruch Merachem al haaretz. Baruch Merachem al habriot. Baruch Mishalem Sachar Tov l'Re'ah. Baruch Chai La'ad V'Kayam La'netzach. Baruch Podeh U'Matzil. Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo, Baruch atah Adonai, Melech mehulal batishbachot. Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo, Baruch Hu.
You can have a seat. I'm going to turn now to page 134. And I realize as I look out on all of you that for many reasons, maybe because of the pandemic over the last 2 years, and maybe because you're visiting from out of town, you might not be familiar with this service, with our Shir Hadash service. And that Shir Hadash is all about the co-creation of a spiritual experience by a whole congregation, not by a leader or an expert at the front of the room performing the service for the congregation. Our intention is that everyone can be a prayer leader, as you see up here and as Talia is demonstrating today, and everyone can sing. Our liturgy and the music that we select is intended to do that too. So even with one line of liturgy, of text, we can participate in prayer. And so if you turn to page 134, I'm going to invite you to sing along. And maybe you're not a singer. That's okay. I'm going to ask you to sing anyway, to sing with the words. They're about 6 lines down, just before that first break in the paragraph, page 134. And these words really start with the fundamentals of spirituality, with opening ourselves to awe and wonder and a sense of the transcendent that is just under the surface. So we say, Ma Gadlu, how awesome, how great are you, God? How deep are God's thoughts in creating this beautiful world? So we're going to sing together, and Talia's going to lead us at the bottom of page 134, and I invite you to sing along with her.
Magadlu, Maseh Me'olam ku mashavotecha. Hallelujah. Magadlu, Maseh Me'olam ku machshevotecha. Hallelujah. Magadlu, Maseh Chaya. Me'olam ku machshevotecha. Hallelujah, Magadlu, Maseh Chaya. Me'olam ku machshevotecha. Hallelujah, Magadlu, Maseh Chaya. Me'olam ku machshevotecha. Hallelujah, Magadlu, Maseh Chaya. Me'olam ku machshevotecha.
After 2 years of separation, we can't take for granted the blessing it is to be in community together. Ashrei Yoshvei Veitecha, how fortunate are those that sit in God's house together and give praise. Page 136 at the top of the page.
Ashrei, Yoshvei, Yoshvei Beitecha. Od Yehallelujah. Od Yehallelujah. Ashrei, Ashrei, Yoshvei Beitecha.
As we turn to page 141, we invite up Talia's cousins to help her lead Psalm 150 on page 141. Come on up, guys. I'm standing around here. Just a little closer. You can have a seat. How do we know we're alive? How do we know we're alive? Our tradition teaches that our life, our neshama, our soul, our nefesh, is our breath. The soul and the breath are synonymous in Judaism. And that soul is available to us when we become aware of our breath. And maybe most poignantly, when we become aware of our own emotions, we're the most alive. And I invite us to take a few deep breaths to feel that neshama that is within us, to be present with our feelings and with our breath. As we turn to page 145, the words Nishmat Kol Chai, the breath of every living thing, gives praise to God. Our very breath gives testimony to the soul that we are endowed with. Nishmat Kol Chai, Tevarech et Shimcha, Adonai, Eloheinu, Nishmat Kol Chai, Tevarech et Shimcha, Adonai Eloheinu, Yadai,
תברך את שמך, אדוני אלוהינו, ידעי
Now we invite Talia to lead us in Shacharit as we turn to page 147.
Shochenad marom v'kadosh shemo Befi yesharim titalal uvdivrei sadikim tibarach uv'lshon hasadim titromam uvkerev kedoshim Tikadash Machalot V'levot Amcha Beit Yisrael Lechadot, Lechalel, Leshabech, Lefe'er, Leromem Lechader, Levarech, Le'alel, Ulkales Al Kol Divrei Shirot V'tishbachot David Be'yishai Avdecha Meshihecha
Yishtabach Shimcha Le'ad Malkeinu.
Page 148.
Brachot v'hodot me'ata ve'ad olam Baruch ata Adonai Amelch gadol b'tishbachot El ha'hodot Adon ha'niflot Habachei b'shirei zimrach Melchei ha'olamim Yikadal v'yikada shemei rabba Ve'oma divra kirotei V'yamlich malchutei
Lecha yechonu yamechon Uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael Bagala Uvizman kari
Ve'imeru
Amen Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam olam me'omaya Yitbarach
Yitbara v'yishtaba v'yipar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh V'yitadar v'yitalel v'yitalal Shemei Kodesha Le'elal milcho birchata v'shirata
Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiron be'ama
Ve'imeru
Amen.
Remain standing as we turn to page 149. Yaida, 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 yaida. Seated as we continue quietly on 150. Hakol yoducha v'chol yeshucha. Page 150 at the bottom.
Ein ke'ekeha, Adonai Eloheinu ba'olam hazeh, v'ein zuletecha, malkoni lehe ha'olam haba, efes b'yotzecha, go'alenu limot ha'moshiach, v'ein do melech ha'moshenu, litiyat ha'metim.
Page 151.
Hamasim Baruch U'Morach Befi Kol Neshama Gadlo V'Tuvo Marei Olam Da'at U'Tuluna Sovev Imoto Hamikdal Chayot HaKodesh Neder V'Chavo Al HaMerkava Zechut U'Mishor Lifnei Chiso Chesed V'Rachamim Lifnei Vodo Tovim me'orot shebara Eloheinu yitzaram b'da'at b'bina u'chaskel koach u'gvura natan bahem liot moshim b'keren tevel meleim ziv u'mfi'im noga na'eh ziva b'chol ha'olam smechim b'tzetam v'sasim b'voam osim b'hem ha'ratzon konam pe'erech avon nonim lishmot alav berina lezechem achuto kara l'shemesh vayizrach ora'a v'hikiru tovana shevat nonim lo kol tzeva maharon tiferet ugedula sfim ve'ofanim v'chayot hakodesh ya 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 ya
You can sit, you can stand, you can move. We're going to continue quietly on page 152. ליל אשר שבת מכל המעשים, ביום השביעי התעלה וישב על כיסא כבודו, ציטר את התר ליום מנוחה, ונקרא ליום שבת ושוב ושוב. תתברך מושיענו על שבח מעשה ידיך, ועל מאורי אור שעשית יפרוך הסלע. Continue on page 153 as Talia leads us at the arrows.
Kulam ahuvim, kulam berurim, kulam giberim, v'kulam osim be'ema uvyav ritzon konam, v'kulam chotem et behem, b'kedusha uv'tahara, b'shira uv'zimra, u'mevarechim, u'meshabachim, umefa'arim, umaritzim, umakdishim, umamlechim. Et Shem
HaMelech HaGadol HaGibor HaNorah Kadoshu.
V'kulam mikablim aleihem, al malchut shemayim zemizeh, v'notnim reshut zelazeh, lahakdish liyotzram benachat ruah, besafa v'rura uvinima, kedusha, kulam ke'echad, onim ve'omrim
Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzvaot, Melech kol haaretz kevodo.
V'ha'ofanim v'chayot ha'kodesh b'ra'ash gadol mitnasim le'omat serafim le'matam mishabchim ve'omrim Baruch
Kevod Adonai B'imkomo.
Or Chadash Atzion Ta'ir V'niskeh kulanu mecheira le'oro Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer HaMorot.
Page 154, Ahava Rabbah, with a great love, God loves us. Reminder that love is powerful. King Solomon said love is more powerful than death. And indeed, love endures even beyond a person's life. We continue now on page 154 with the words Ahava Rabbah as we gather together the four corners of our talit. ואהבתנו אדוני אלוהינו, חמלה גדולה ותרחמת עלינו. ירננו בתורתך והביאנו לשלום מארבע כנפות הארץ. Bring us together from the four corners of the earth as we bring together the four corners of our talit. ברכנו ברכת מכל המושון וקרבתנו שמור ישראל. תשמעו מצוותיה שנתתי מצוותכם היום.
Adonai Elohim Emet.
We'll join together at the arrows on page 157.
V'dor v'dor hu kayam u'shmo kayam v'chison nachon u'malchuto ve'emunato la'ad kayamet.
ודבריו חיים קיימים נאמנים נחמדים לאדון המרמים ולבתים ולבנים ולבנים ולזרעותינו ולזרעות האמת שאתה
אמת שעתהו אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו מלכנו מלך אבותינו גואלנו גואל אבותינו יוצרנו צור ישועתנו פודנו ומצילנו מעולם שמך ein Elohim zulatecha.
עזרת אבותינו אתה הוא. We continue quietly through 157 and we'll join together at the arrows on 158.
Tehilot le'el elyon
Baruch Hu Voram Moshe Miriam Uvnei Yisrael Lechanu Shir
as we're able, and we continue with the words at the top of page 159 as we begin the Amidah together.
Adonai, Sephatai Tivtah, Ufi Agi, Tehilatecha, Adonai, Sephatai Tivtah, Ufi Agi, Tehilatecha, Yai, 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 Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot, Umevi Goel Lifnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ufokei Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Metim Atarav Le'Yoshia,
Tatal,
Mechokel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayei Metim Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofer Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Milchamocha Baal Gevurot, Umidom Elah, Melech Memid, Umechayeh, Umatzliach Yeshua. Lechayot Metim, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei HaMetim. Nekadesh Hajimhem Ba'olam, Kashem Shemakdishim Oto B'Shimei Marom, Kakatuv Al Yei Neviecha, Vekara Ze'el Zei Ve'amar.
Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzvaot, Melech kol haaretz kevodo.
Az b'chol ra'ash gadol, adir b'chazak, mishmim kol, mitnasim leomat seraphim, leomatam baruch yomeru.
Baruch kevod Adonai,
mimkomo.
Mimkomcha malkeinu tovia,
v'timloch aleinu ki
v'chakim anachnu lach. Matai timloch b'tzion, bekarov b'yamenu le'olam v'ed tishkon. Titkadash b'toch Yerushalayim yircha, לדור ודור לנצח נצחים.
ועינינו תראנה מלכותך כדבר בשירי עוזך. על ידי דוד משיח צדקך ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהי ציון לדור ודור הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גדלך ולנצח נצחים קדושך נקדיש. לדור ודור נגיד גדלך ולנצח נצחים קדושך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. כי המלך גדול וקדוש אתה.
ישמח משה במנת קטלוג, ידמנה קטלוג, ידבר ראשונת
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן.
יתקרא ויקרא השם מרבה, ויעמד יברח ירצה, וימליך מלכותה, וחייכון ומכון, וירחו בישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו
אמן.
יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם לעולמיה, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר וירומם וינשא, ויתרא ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה, בריחו לעילם מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תשבחתה ונחמתה, תאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. תתקבל צלות חון ובת חון, דכל ישראל, קדם אבהון דשמיא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. Yashkoach to Talia leading us in Shachari. We're now going to continue on to the Torah service on page 168, and we remain standing as we're able. Is that you?
Ein kamocha ve'Elohim Adonai ve'ein kema'asecha malchutcha malchut kol olamim u'memshaltecha bechol dor v'dor Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai imloch ve'olam va'ed Adonai oz ve'amo yitet Adonai yevarech et amo b'shalom Aharachamim Etiva b'rtzoncha et Zion Tivnecho mot Yerushalayim Ki b'cha leva batachnu Melech Aram v'Nisam Adon Olamim Yadadadadai Yadadadadai Yadadadadai
Vayehi binso Aharon vayomer Moshe Kuma
Adonai ve'yafutzu oivecha ve'yanusu mesanecha mipanecha ki mitzion tetzei Torah ki mitzion tetzei Torah
Udehar Adonai
Yerushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Le'amo Yisrael B'kedushato.
You can go ahead and close the doors. We continue responsibly on 171.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonai Kadosh Shemo. Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonai Kadosh Shemo.
Excellent. You can all have a seat. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It is so good to see this room so full of people. I know we keep bringing out more chairs, but I also know that there are seats available throughout the chairs up front too. So if you have some seats by you, you can kind of squeeze together and make some room for other folks. And again, welcome. On behalf of Rabbi Dahlin and myself and our congregation, if you're visiting from out of town, I want to welcome you on this beautiful Shabbat morning to celebrate with Talia and her family, and of course to celebrate Shabbat together. We're going to start reading the Torah reading. We are reading from Parashat Emor. It's not correct here.
686. 686.
686. Thank you.
We know the number, right?
For those of you following along at home, joining us online, we are reading from Vayikra, from the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, starting with verse 23. It's my pleasure also to invite Marlene Richter, who's Talia's tutor, to gabbai with me. And we had Talia's uncles Kurt Fishman and Jeremiah Scallion and A.J. Hibshman at the beginning of the Torah service. We're going to now call up family and friends to take aliyot from the Torah. Oh my goodness. It is really, take a moment just to welcome Carolyn Arbach. Carolyn really has not been with us for the whole pandemic, for 2 years. A member of our davening team, always will be a member of our davening team member emeritus. And you're coming back. So we call up Carolyn for the first aliyah. Oh yeah, she's welcome to. And as always at Shir Hadash, we invite those taking an aliyah to say a few words and to offer some words of wisdom to our bat mitzvah.
Okay. My son said, do I want to say something? All of you who knew me then and know me now, you knew I never stopped saying something.
Sean, can we get that mic
even
up?
if I haven't been here for a few years, as we say, we never let anybody get us down, no matter what we are. I'm very fortunate. I just had my 90th birthday, and it's nice. But I missed. Didn't have a chance to do a lot of dancing over where I am now, and but I just want to say it's so good to see you, and I cannot tell you how wonderful it is to hear everybody just like you've been here for years and years and years. Thank you just for keeping it going, so I can come back and bring my drum back with me and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay. Where do I go? Because
I'm going to call you up first. V'ya'azor v'yagen v'yoshel ha'choch v'simo v'nomar amen. Hakol ha'v'godel Eloheinu u'tznu chavod la'torah ta'amod. What's your Hebrew name? Tzila Liba bat Yosef v'chana Rishona Baruch Shnatan Torah le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. ואתם הדבקים באדוני אלוהיכם, חיים כולכם היום.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני מבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים, ונתן לנו את תורתו. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el bnei Israel lemor, b'chodesh hashvi'i, be'echad lechodesh, yeh lachem, Shabbaton zichron shruah, mikra kodesh, kol melecha avodah lo ta'asu, v'kravtem ishe l'Adonai.
Do it again. I'm starting to shoot. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. I remember when you were real little like this, and here you are about this. May you all be with us. May we all be able to celebrate.
Yashikoah.
And Mazel Tov to Talia and to Josh and the whole family. And we're very fortunate to be here today. Thank you.
Yes.
Mazel Tov. I think we stand
Very
here.
nice.
Now, let me.
Also, after some time, welcoming Hamid and Maru Simantov for the second Aliyah. Ya Amdu Aziz ben Sarah ve'et. But what's your Hebrew name? Levana bat Shemesh Hasofer Le'aliyah Shenit. Feel free to say a few words. And let's get, if we can, a little bit more on this microphone, please.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's wonderful to be back. Even though we moved to Los Angeles, we left our heart and soul in here, and really feels to be at home. And what a great honor to participate in the Bat Mitzvah today. So I see, my face is hurting because I can't stop smiling. So it's a great honor. Baruch Hu Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, besor lachodesh hashvi'i hazeh yom haKippurim hu mikra kodesh yeh lachem v'initem et nafshotechem v'kravtem ishe l'Adonai v'chol melecha lo ta'asu be'etzem hayom hazeh ki yom kippurim hu lechaper aleichem lifnei Adonai Elohechem ki kol hanefesh asher lo te'uneh be'etzem hayom hazeh v'nechreta me'yamecha v'chol hanefesh asher ta'aseh kol melecha be'etzem hayom hazeh v'ha'avati et hanefesh hahi mikerav amah kol melecha lo ta'asu hukad olam l'dorotechem b'chol moshotechem shiva yamim Shabbaton chulechem v'initem et nafshotechem b'tisha lachodesh ba'erev me'erev ad erev tishbetu Shabbatchem.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu et Torato v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yashikoah. It's good to see you. For the third Aliyah, we call upon Alicia Dancy and Shayna Papika, Talia's aunts. Want to share a few words? Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Alicia, Talia's aunt. This is my sister Shayna. Talia, I'll come closer. Talia, we're so happy that we are able to be with you here today. And over the years, we've watched you grow and mature, but through all that growth and maturity, your creativity, bless you, has always shined through, and it's our hope that you keep that stays with you. And even though you rushed to join us in this world, we want you to take your time to grow up, stay young at heart, have fun, be silly. These are all the things that we love about you. And so today and every day, we are really proud of you, of all that you have accomplished, of all that you are overcoming, of your kind and your giving heart. And we want you to remember today, and all the love that surrounds you, and just keep shining bright.
Good job.
Ta'amdu tzipora Masha bat Gavriel veliba pesha ve'et Surah bat Gavriel veliba pesha le'aliyah shlishit.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Barach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el bnei Israel lemor, v'chamisha asar yom, lachodesh hashvi'i hazeh, hag hasukot, shivat yamim, l'Adonai, vayom harishon, mikra kodesh, kol melechet avodah lo ta'asu, shivat yamim, takrivu ishe, l'Adonai, vayom hashmini, Mikra Kodesh Yihielahem, Vikravtem Ishe Ladonai, Aseret Hi, Komalecha Avodah Lo Ta'asu Ele, Moadei Adonai, Asher Tigru Otam, Mikra E Kodesh, Lahakrivi Ishe Ladonai, Ola Umincha Zevach, Unsachim Devar Yom Biyomo. Milvad Shabtot Adonai, Umilvad Matnotechem, Umilvad Kol Nidrechem, Umilvad Kol Nidvotechem, Asher Titnu Ladonai. Ah, Bachamisa Asar Yom, Lachodesh, Hashvi'i, Ba'asbachem et Tivuat, Haaretz, Ta Hogu et Hag Adonai, Shiva Yamim, Bayom Harishon, Shabbaton, Uvayom Hashmini, Shabbaton, Ulkachtem Lachem, Bayom Harishon, Pri Eitz Adar, Chapot Tamarim, V'anaf Eitz Avot, V'arvei Nachal, Usmachtem, Lifnei Adonai Lechem, Shivat Yamim, V'hagotem Oto, Hag Ladonai, Shivat Yamim, Shana, Hukad Olam L'Dorotechem, B'chodesh Hashvi'i, Tahogu Oto, Basukot, Teshvu, Shivat Yamim, Kol HaEzra, B'Yisrael, Yeshvu, Basukot, Lema'an Yedu Dorotechem Ki Basukot Hoshavti et Bnei Yisrael Bahotzi'i Oto Ota Me'eretz Mitzrayim Ayin Hani Adonai Lechem Vaydaber Moshe et Moadei Adonai El Bnei Yisrael. So long.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yashkach, that was a long aliyah. For the fourth aliyah, we call upon Talia's grandparents, Lynn and Gary Small. Ya'amdu liba pesha bat chaim v'menucha ve'et Gavriel ben Shaya ve'gisala le'aliyah revi'it. We're on the beginning of chapter 24.
I brought my supply. Probably not enough in the world. The first thing I will say is I'm glad you have the wool voice and not the small voice, because we were always off key and continue to be off key, and you are right on key and are singing beautifully. So for that, I am eternally grateful. But you remind me so much, your mother, your beauty, your grace, your kindness, your empathy towards others. You're becoming an astonishing young woman in every way. And she loved this synagogue and this service so much. She really took it to heart and enjoyed all of her time here. And it's nice to see that you also enjoy it and take it to heart. And our pride in you could not be greater. We love you so very, very much. And we don't get to see you as much as we would like, because you moved to Denver, of all places. But it doesn't matter, because we still feel that special, very special connection, and we'll always be there for you, now and forever. So now we have to do another hard part. Baruch hu et Adonai HaBarak. Baruch Adonai K'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Can't read it anymore. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. It's hard to see when there's no tears.
Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, Zav et bnei Yisrael, v'yiku elecha shemen zait zach katit l'maor lecha alot ner tamid michut lefaroch et ha'edut b'ohel moed ya'aruch oto aharon me'erev mit ad boker lifnei Adonai tamid hukat olam l'dorotechem al hamenorah haTorah ya'aruch et hanorah hanerot lifnei Adonai tamid.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yashakor. Now you get a little break, Talia. Rebecca's going to read this next aliyah, and we call upon your aunts Rachel Scanlon and Deborah Fishman. Ta'amdu Raisarua bat Meir v'Miriam ved Nechama Shena bat Meir v'Miriam le'aliyah chamishit.
You guys talking? I got something to say to this guy. My turn? Your turn. Okay. Hold on. Do you want to talk? Talk. Yeah. You're going to talk longer than I'm going to talk. I love you, first and foremost. The first thought that came to my mind was that I'm so proud of you, and I think everyone here is. I don't think that's surprising. I don't think anyone's surprised at how amazing you're doing today, how beautiful your voice is, how composed you are. The reason is that you're a natural. You're naturally kind You're naturally a leader. You're naturally a caretaker for all these little cousins. Even last night when Mariah was flittering around, you were like, I'll take your bag. I'll show you the way. I got you. I'll take you under my wing. You don't ask to be told. You step up and you do it not for praise. You do it because you're a natural. You're naturally kind, naturally good, naturally an incredible leader, an incredible singer. And I love you. I love you so much. I'm so proud of you. That's all.
Tally Pack. The easiest promise I ever made was when I promised I would always be there for you, to take care of you. And back then, there was never a doubt that your dad would be able to step up and be a single dad and meet all of your day-to-day needs and all of your emotional needs. You're in good hands. But I kept fast forwarding to this age right here, where you're going from that being a little girl to being a woman. And I thought maybe you'd want a woman that you were close to, you know, talk to. And shorter than me. That would. So I looked ahead to this day, and I was worried about how I would, because you're older than my other girls, right? So I was worried about how am I going to handle it. First of all, you have told me what you needed every step of the way. So you have made it so easy to take care of you, and I know that your dad would say the same thing. You advocate for yourself. You tell us when you need space. You tell us when you need more closeness. So you have made it so easy. The other thing that's made it so easy is that you actually are not starting to become a woman today. You've been living in this balance since you were very, very little between girlhood and womanhood. When you were 6, when you were 7, I marveled at how mature you were. And now that you're 12, you act like you're 16 most of the time, but just like your aunties wish for you and what they know about you and love about you, you're so mature that you understand the value of childhood in a way that not many people your age do. Most of us are in too much of a rush to grow up too fast, and then there are some of us who take way too long to grow up, but you have lived in this perfect balance between joyful childishness and graceful maturity. And it makes it such an honor and a joy and just the joy of my life to get to be your adopted Ima. I love you so much. I'm so proud of you every single day. And I love you. And you're the best gift that I could ask for. I love you. Now go sit down. Not yet. Who's going to make the most? Okay, so.
Verse 5 on page 690.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'lakachta solet v'afita ota 12 chalot. 12 עשרנים יחלה אחד, ושמת אותם 2 מערכות, 6 המערכת על השולחן הטהור לפני אדוני, ונתת על המערכת לבונה זכה, והייתה ללכת לאזכרה של אדוני, ביום השבת יערכנו לפני אדוני תמיד, מאת בני ישראל ברית עולם, והייתה לאהרון ולבניו, ואכלוהו במקום קדוש, כי קודש קדשים הוא לו, משאדוני חוק עולם. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu, baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Also, that was my first time reading Torah in 30 years because I was not allowed to read Torah at my own bat mitzvah, and this was nerve-wracking and fun. I know.
Shakar.
Thank you.
For the sixth Aliyah, we call upon Mark Wall and Barbara Goodwin. Ya'amdu Meir ben Shmuel ve'Brian Doved, Rivka bat Eliezer le'Aliyah Shishit.
So I just want to, first, we are taking this Aliyah, not just in honor of Talia's bat mitzvah, of course, but also in honor of Rebecca, having so beautifully read from the Torah, and in honor of my son Josh, who shortly will read from the Torah. What an honor. It's, three honors, so wonderful. I just want to share a few words of wisdom with Talia. Talia, I can't think of a better place, anywhere, a better place to become a bat mitzvah than here at HEA and Shir Hadash. Just a couple of minutes ago, Rebecca read from the Torah after 30 years, and Josh will be reading from the Torah after 33 years, after his bar mitzvah, and 30 and 33 years after their bar and bat mitzvahs. So I really hope that as you grow and mature, that you'll be able to take advantage of all of the beautiful and wonderful things that Shir Hadash and HEA has to offer to expand all of your horizons as a young Jewish woman. Talia, we are just so proud of you, and we love you so much.
We're on verse 10, the last word on page 690.
Baruch et Adonai havarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai havarach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayetze ben Isha, Amen. Vayetze ben Isha Yisraelit vehu ben Ish Mitzri b'toch b'nei Yisrael. Vayenetzu b'machane ben haYisraelit ve'ish haYisraeli. Vayikov ben haisha haYisraelit et Hashem v'kalel vayaviu oto el Moshe v'shem imo Shlomit bat divri l'matedan vayanichu b'mishmar lifrosh lahem al pi Adonai.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Shkoch Mazal Tov. We now will take a moment to offer a prayer for those in need of healing. If we'll ask you to all please rise. And I invite you to call to mind those in your own life and in our world in need of healing. Welcome you to share those names, to invoke those names out loud as we sing together.
Oh
Yishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah U'Yavarech v'Rapeh et HaCholim. Kadosh Baruch Hu Yimaleh Rachamim Aleihem Lahachazikam U'Reputam V'Yishlach Lahem Me'ara Refuah Shlema Min HaShamayim Refuat HaNefesh Refuat HaGuf B'toch Shir HaCholim V'Chazek et Yedei Ha'oskim B'tzarchechem Shabbatim Nizok U'Refuah Krova Lavo Hashba Galav Izman Kariv V'Nomar Amen. You may be seated. Well, now we'll call up the seventh Aliyah, and we call up Talia as our bat mitzvah. Tamod, Tamod, habachura bat mitzvah, Talia Chana bat Shmuel, ve'yocheved shvi'it.
Baruch et Adonai Cham v'rach.
Baruch Adonai v'rach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Cham v'rach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torto. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Vaydaber Adonai El Moshe Lemor, Hotzei et Hamekalel El Mehut, L'machan v'samchu, Kol Hashamim et Yedehem Al Rosho, V'ragmu Oto, Kol Ha'eda, V'el B'nei Yisrael, Teleber Lemor, Ish, Ish, Ki Yikalel Elohav, V'nasacheto, V'nokev Shem Adonai, Mo Yumat, Ragom Yirgmuvo, Kol Ha'eda, Hager Ha'azra, Benokev Shem Benakvo Shem Yumat, Ve'ish Ki Yikalel Ki Yika Kol Nefesh Adam Mo Yumat, Uma He Nefesh Bechna Yishamena Nefesh Tahat Nefesh, Ve'ish ki yitain mum ba'amito ka'asher ish kasher asa kain ye'eseh lo shever tachat shever ayin tachat ayin shein tachat shein ka'asher yitain mum ba'adam ki yinatain bo Umachei bechema yeshamena, umachei adam yumat mishpat achad Adonai yihye lechem chager cha'ezra yihye ki ayin Adonai Elohechem vaydaber Moshe el bnei Yisrael vayotziu et hamekalel el mechut lemachan L'machane v'yirgmu oto aven uvnei Yisrael ish asu Ka'asher Sivat Adonai et Moshe. Can I sit yet?
You have to do the blessings. Right, here we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, and siman tov, mazel tov, and siman tov, mazel tov, and siman tov. Yehelanu, 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 ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael. Siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, and siman tov, mazel tov, and siman tov, and mazel tov, and siman tov. Yehelanu, 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 ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael. So, Talia, the answer to your question is no, you may not sit down yet. No, we are not done yet, and you're not done yet. We're going to lift and dress the Torah, so I guess you still have to stay up here. So, we call upon Josh and Asher to lift and dress the Torah. We'll ask you all to please rise. Yamdu Hamagbiya v'Hagolel.
Zot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael avi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Hine ma tov u'ma-na'im Shabbat zachim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma-na'im Shabbat zachim gam yachad. Lado boi kol yom unjiv boi kusan yusa Abahu ganda ho kutula. Lado boi kol yom unjiv boi kusan yusa Abahu ganda ho kutula. Hine ma tov u'ma-na'im Shabbat zachim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'ma-na'im Shabbat zachim gam yachad. Lava boi kol yom unjiv boi kusan yusa Abahu ganda ho kutula. Hine ma tov unjiv boi kusan yusa Abahu ganda ho kutula.
You may be seated. Josh goes to the gym and all he does is shoulder presses. All right. Talia, you've completed all of the tasks that we've assigned you, demonstrating your leadership in the Jewish community, leading a service, reading Torah, but perhaps most importantly of all, as a young emerging adult, sharing your Torah with us, your inheritance in Torah, and to turn around and share that wisdom with the community is perhaps the greatest mark of leadership and adulthood. So with that, I can take that. Welcome you to share words of Torah with us.
Rabbi Grunwald, friends and family, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Today we read Parsha Emor, which sets out the holidays on the Jewish calendar. When it talks about the holidays, it's really talking about holy time, the times that are set aside on the calendar for traditions and holidays and prayers that make life meaningful. In this Parsha, the Torah gives us a structure for how to use our time well. After all, time is the most precious thing we have. The quality of our life can be measured by how we use the time that we are given. The Parsha tells us to set aside time for Passover, which we just recently celebrated. When we tell the story of the Exodus from Egypt, we remember where we came from and what gave us our identity as Jews. It teaches us to celebrate Shavuot, when we were given the Torah at Mount Sinai. The Torah is our moral code and guide on how to live a good life. Next is Rosh Hashanah, a memorial for us to remember the good and bad things we've done and to think about the type of person we want to be. It's a reminder that life is short, another year has passed, and we need to use our time wisely. On Yom Kippur, it tells us to atone for our sins. We need to use this time to ask for forgiveness, not just from God, but also from each other, because only by confronting our faults can we hope to be better people moving forward. After Yom Kippur, there's Sukkot, when we live in the sukkah to remember that we were once refugees without a home, and to remind ourselves to be welcoming to others who are strangers, travelers, and refugees. This Parsha also discusses Shabbat. We are supposed to step away from work and electronics and all other things that can tie us down, that can cause stress, or that can distract us from what's important. Instead, we are reminded to relax and spend quality time with friends and family in our community, and to focus on the things that make life meaningful. But why do we need these days? Why do we have to set aside time for these things? Don't we know how to do this stuff already? I bet everyone here knows that it's important to spend time with loved ones, or to be kind to others, or to ask forgiveness when we hurt others. But knowing that you should do something isn't the same as doing it. When life is busy and stressful, which it always is, we can spend too much time focusing on what's urgent and forget to focus on what's important. These things can also be difficult to do. It can be uncomfortable asking someone to forgive us. It's hard to put down our phones and other devices long enough to really be with the people we care about, or to reach out to someone we haven't seen in a while, or to help out someone in need. So the Torah teaches us that the way we make sure that we actually follow through on what we know is important is by making a commitment. We need to set aside time to make ourselves better people, to connect with our community, and for tikkun olam, repairing the world. My bat mitzvah has come at a strange time, after 2 years of pandemic, when life is starting to get back to normal, but isn't quite there yet. Life was, and still is, a bit messy and disorganized. Time in my life seemed to stand still, yet also slip away. My world was chaos, and even though I had nothing but time, I always seemed to have trouble finding time to do what was special and important. I felt as if I didn't have time to enjoy what I have, and I spent the time I had focusing on the negative. I know I'm not the only one who felt this way. Without structure to our time, it can be very difficult to do the things that give meaning to life. But now, as the world is starting to reopen, I'm making sure to find the time to hang out with my friends and show that they are special to me. I'm trying to make sure to call my family, and I'm finding time to show my love to those I care about. For my Mitzvah project, I recently spent time volunteering at the Denver Dumb Friends League. Anyone who knows me knows how much I have loved animals, and I have loved having the chance to do something to help make the world a little better for those abandoned animals. I plan to continue my volunteering, to donate part of my bat mitzvah presents to the shelter, and to continue using my time in a way that's meaningful. I look back to when I was younger, when my mom was still with me. I look at how she spent the time she had left showing love and kindness. She spent her time snuggling in bed with me and trying to stay positive and giving me a lifetime's worth of love. I'm sure she was glad that she treasured the time she had with me, and I know I'm glad she did. My biggest regret is not spending as much time with her as I could. One of my favorite song lyrics is from a song by Joni Mitchell. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? I also love a similar quote from another song. Well, you only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Only know you've been high when you're feeling low. Only hit the road when you're missing home. Only know you love her when you let her go. And you let her go. These song lyrics always remind me to treasure my time with the people I love. So as I become a bat mitzvah, my challenge to myself is to continue to commit my time doing what I can to give meaning to my life, to connect with my friends and family, and to find ways to make the world a little better. There are many people who helped me get to this day. First, I want to thank Rabbi Marlene for helping me learn all I needed to get ready for today. Even when I was tired or distracted, you were super supportive and patient, and I never would have survived this past year without your amazing help. Thank you, Rabbi Greenwald and Rabbi Dolan, for helping me prepare for this day, to understand my parsha, and helping me to become more comfortable standing up here leading the service. Grammy and Grampy, thank you for taking care of me in the summer and making it so much fun, for being so kind and loving, and for making sure I have the things I need for camp and other times. Thank you, Bob and Barbara, for being kind and caring. Thanks for getting Coco. Thank you, Barbara, for taking care of Bob and being so kind to me. Thank you, Bob, for always having Band-Aids, making me laugh, and teaching my dad how to be a great dad. Thank you, Auntie Becca and Uncle AJ, for taking care of me, taking me camping, going shopping with me when I needed it, buying me stuff, supporting me, and Auntie Becca, thank you so much for being like a second mother to me. As much as I miss my mom, I'm so grateful that you were there to step in, and I know she's glad that I have you. And AJ and Atanya and Miriam and Jonah, I love you all. Dad, thank you so much for caring for me, for watching over me, for giving me freedom and teaching me responsibility. You always know how to make me laugh, how to make me smile no matter how I feel. You are so supportive and generous, and you help me to grow into the person I am today. You apologize when you hurt me, even if you did nothing unreasonable or unfair. You have taught me so much. I love you more than you can imagine, and you are the most incredible dad I could ever ask for. Thank you to my friends. Despite this year being a tough one, it has been an amazing year thanks to you guys. I'm so glad I have y'all in my life. Let's see, who am I missing? Oh yeah, thank you Asher for being my brother, for playing games with me and staying calm, despite the fact that I am absolutely awful at them. Thanks for going with me to Dairy Queen and watching out for me. I love you. Thank you to this community, to my family in Denver and those who traveled here for me, and my friends and family watching online around the country and around the world supporting me, encouraging me and helping me celebrate my bat mitzvah. Last but definitely not least, thank you to Sky and Surrey, my two adorable dogs. Thank you for your kisses and cuddles whenever I needed them, and for making sure that whenever I leave the house, I always bring your fur with me wherever I go. Thank you.
Yasher koach.
Yasher koach.
Here's the clip.
I'll just leave that. It's all right. No, Talia, don't go anywhere.
Can't get a
I know
moment
you're
to sit
not
down.
done yet. Oh my God, Talia. It is truly a personal pleasure for me to be up here with you today. And you spoke about the preciousness of time and the balance between action and being, and just the time that it takes to touch your own heart and touch the hearts of other people. And God, as I stand up here and I look at you, I can't help but see your mother's face, who you and your brother look so much like. And you do. Come on.
Yeah.
Right? And you have many of her qualities, her empathy, her deep compassion for other people. You've held on to that, and you've stayed true to that sense of yourself. You care about other people. You care about your community. You are the first to help. You are a person who will sacrifice for other people, and that's a deep sense of character. You also possess her wry sense of humor, her sly smile, and you have held on to joy despite great grief. And from your dad, you've inherited courage and perseverance. You and your brother both have become strong human beings despite the great loss that you experienced in your life. You have learned lessons that no child should have to learn, but you have become a stronger, more courageous person for it. And for that, you are a gift to anybody who knows you, and you will continue to share those gifts with the world as you continue to grow up. So it is my pleasure on behalf of our congregation to offer you words of blessing. I'm going to invite your dad to join you up here. And I'm going to invite the whole congregation to please rise too, because it takes a village, and these folks are your village, and we continue to stand with you as you grow and thrive. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, 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 v'yasem lecha shalom, shalom, v'yasem lecha shalom, 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 v'yasem lecha shalom, shalom, v'yasem lecha shalom. Talia, may God continue to bless you and protect you. May God's light shine upon you and be gracious to you. May God show you favor and grant you peace. And let us say amen.
Amen. Where you hiding?
Behind you.
Oh, Talia. Talia.
That is my name.
So Talia, I find it appropriate that in your Devar Torah you quoted song lyrics. I spent a lot of time thinking back over the last 13 years in preparing for today, and one of my favorite memories is every night when you were little, putting you and Asher to bed, when I'd sit in the hallway between your two rooms and sing you songs until you both fell asleep. Or more often until I fell asleep. Occasionally I outlasted you two, but not often. But even before you were born, your mommy and I would sing to you. One song that has always stuck with me is the song The Things We've Handed Down by Mark Cohn. And in one of the verses, the artist sings to his unborn child, and I'll take your challenge since you sang, I'll sing too. Will you laugh just like your mother? Will you sigh like your old man? Will some things skip a generation like I've heard they often can? Are you a poet or a dancer, a devil or a clown, or a strange new combination of the things we've handed down? Tali, you are a poet and a dancer. You are a devil and a clown. And so much more, all wrapped up in this strange new combination that is you. You're intelligent and kind, adventurous, loving, compassionate, and hardworking. The song goes on. I wonder who you'll look like. Will your hair fall down and curl? Will you be a mama's boy or daddy's little girl? Will you be a sad reminder of what's been lost along the way? Maybe you can help me find her in the things you do and say. I have to say, Tali, you certainly, as everyone here has said, can be a reminder in the things you do and say, in who you are, what you enjoy and value. But I take issue with the song in one place. you're never a sad reminder. You bring such joy to me and to all the people around you. You take pride in living up to Mommy's example, and just by being yourself, you help me find her every day, and you make me smile. So the song concludes with these words. You may not always be so grateful for the way that you were made. Maybe some feature of your father's that you'd gladly sell or trade. Come on, my sense of humor, for example, maybe?
No.
Judging by how often you smack me in the back of the head for telling bad jokes, yeah? And one day you may look at us and say that you were cursed, but over time that line has been extremely well rehearsed by our fathers and their fathers in some old and distant town. From places no one here remembers come the things we've handed down. Tali, you have been handed down challenges, but so many gifts that have made you who you are. Not just from me and from Mommy, but from so many others, from your grandparents, your aunts and uncles, your friends and family in this room and watching online, from your teachers and your camp counselors, from people you hardly remember, and from people you've never even met, from your Jewish traditions, from wisdom, the Jewish wisdom and values, and from this beautiful community here where you've grown up. All of this has helped shape the incredible person that is standing here today. Tali, I am so proud of you for all of the hard work you put into today, for your good brain and your big heart, and for your character. And every day you show what an amazing young woman you have become, Tali. I am so proud of you, and I love you. Mazal tov.
Well, after that amazing speech, can we get a third dog?
Nice try.
Nice.
Let's see who am I forgetting. Oh yeah, my brother.
Yes, thank you. Yesh koach, mazal tov. We'll now conclude our Torah service. We call upon Daniel Schuldman, Rachel Salazar, and Stephanie Dancy. I'm sorry, Stephen Dancy. Thank you. To help us return the Torah to the ark. Will please rise.
I ain't standing anymore.
Yehalelu et Shem Adonai, ki nizkar Shemo levado. Hodu al eretz v'shamayim, vayarem keren le'amo. Tehillah lechol chasitav, livnei Yisrael, lam kerovo.
Cool.
mitzvotecha. Shalom. Hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Chadesh yameinu kekedem.
Yitkara v'ikra shemei rabba. Zalma divrach yirtei v'amlik malchutei v'chayichonu v'mechonu v'chayircho b'Yisrael v'agalav v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach le'olam le'olam maya Yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yiruma minaseh v'yitadar v'yitala v'yitalal shmei dekudesha brichu leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Titkabel tzloton v'archon dekol Yisrael kadam avon dibishmaya v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba mishamaya v'chaim aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. You're welcome to take a seat. Shabbat shalom, everyone. All right. Many of you know that my family is from Peru. My parents were born and raised in Peru, and they immigrated to this country shortly before I was born. And to my parents and grandparents who immigrated to this country, the United States of America was the Golden Medina. That's what my grandfather called it, the golden country, a land of opportunity for all people, a land that provided a home and prosperity for my family, leaving a very poor country. Moving to the United States also gave my family the opportunity to live proudly and openly as Jews. In Peru, the Jewish community was beleaguered by a Catholic-dominated culture that was overtly anti-Semitic, based in a common myth among old-school Catholics that the Jews were responsible for the crucifixion of Jesus. Latin American Jews are careful not to draw attention to their Jewishness. And typically, synagogues in South America are unmarked buildings tucked away in residential neighborhoods. Like Peru, there are many countries, in fact, even among the industrialized democracies, where government policy and law favor one religion over others, or where government directly funds houses of worship. By contrast, the United States, with the First Amendment to the Constitution and a wall of separation between religion and state, provides fertile ground for minority religious and cultural groups to flourish. As a result, Jewish religious life in modern America is more diverse, more creative, and freer than perhaps in any time or place in history, maybe even freer than in modern Israel, where state-sponsored orthodoxy dominates public life. The kind of expansive religious liberty we enjoy in this country has a paradoxical aspect to it. There's a paradox in the freedom of religion. On the one hand, the free exercise of religion gives every group the right to express themselves and the right to live out their religious convictions. However, in order to make space in the public sphere for everyone of any religion or no religion, the public square must be kept somewhat neutral. Right? Everyone gets to express their religious convictions, but sometimes we have to refrain a little bit so that the public sphere is free for everyone. That means that no one religious group can be allowed to impose itself on others. And this means that to some reasonable extent, we have to refrain from expressing our faith in arenas that impact others. Not only should the government stay out of religious affairs, religion should not unduly influence public policy. We all come to the public sphere with who we are and what we believe, but we have to keep some space for other people's perspectives. And I can understand why some folks who would like to see their religious values incorporated into the laws of the nation feel that way, but doing so would be an infringement on other religious groups who do not share the same values and practices. For instance, if Christian political leaders were to mandate that all businesses must close on Sundays, or if the government were to outlaw kosher slaughter, as some people advocate, we Jews would see that as an infringement on our liberty to live and believe as we choose to. Now, the trade-off of this paradox is that the United States is one of the most religious countries in the industrialized West. Our religious liberty is precisely the thing that has made religion flourish in this country. By keeping government out of religion and keeping religion out of government, we have created a public sphere where religion can be freely expressed, and that is a blessing. But it's also why it is so troubling to learn that the United States Supreme Court is poised to infringe on the personal rights of individuals and also on the religious liberties of faith traditions that differ from the dominant culture. If the Supreme Court indeed overturns the landmark Roe v. Wade decision, as it appears it will, the court will not only intrude on the rights of individual women and others who have wombs, it will be an affront to the free practice of religion in our country, with implications well beyond reproductive rights. The abortion debate in the United States has largely been constructed around a very specific, narrow set of fundamentalist Christian ideas and concepts that differ from our Jewish approach to the issue. American anti-abortion activists most often draw on Christian dogma that is neither scientific nor congruous with other religious faiths. Many Christians claim that the human soul is present from the time of conception. Besides the fact that conception is not an accurate description of how fertilization and implantation actually happen, can't define a moment when the soul enters the body, much less when pregnancy starts. Not only is it not scientific, Judaism doesn't conceive of the blastocyst or the embryo in the early stages of pregnancy as a living being at all. In fact, according to Jewish law, a baby acquires a soul only upon exiting the womb and taking its first breath. Indeed, the words we use for soul, nefesh, neshama, ruach, are all synonyms for breath. So according to Judaism, life begins when you take your first breath. Until they take their first breath, the preborn fetus is considered a part of a woman's body and does not possess individual rights. You may not be aware that abortion was practiced in ancient times and familiar to our ancestors, unlike other controversies of modern Jewish life, like whether it's okay to Zoom on Shabbat. Our ancestors actually knew about abortion, and they wrote about it explicitly. The Mishnah, dating to the 2nd century and forming the basis of all Jewish law after it, discusses cases when pregnancy threatens the life or well-being of a mother. And Jewish law is very clear on the subject. In all cases, the life and well-being of a mother outweigh the interests of the fetus. In fact, in cases when the mother's life is at risk, the fetus is called according to the Mishnah, is a rodef. This is a technical category in the law of self-defense. In Jewish law, if someone is pursuing you in a manner that threatens you with death or physical harm, a rodef, a pursuer, you are not only allowed to use deadly force in return, you are morally obligated to defend yourself and kill rather than be killed. That is a principle in Jewish law. And according to Jewish law, if a pregnancy threatens the life or health of a mother, she not only has the right to terminate the pregnancy, she actually has a moral obligation to save her own life. Many modern rabbis, including many Orthodox rabbis, have also expanded the definition of harm to include psychological harm or financial hardship. There's more I could say, but the particulars of Jewish law on abortion are beside the point of my sermon. I wanted you to know those things, but that's not the point. I'm not trying to make the case for why abortion in some instances is justifiable, nor would I ever try to convince someone who isn't Jewish to follow Jewish law. And that's the point. To be fair, Jewish law has a lot to say about when abortion is not ethical. But my message today is not really about the practice of reproductive health care. It is about the collective right of Jews and other faith traditions to address this issue and the debate around abortion without the imposition of state-sponsored Christian dogma. Others can make the secular case for the right to privacy and women's right to choose. My perspective as a Jew and as a rabbi is that reproductive health care is a matter of personal ethics. The choice available to Jews and others should not be curtailed to conform with the ideology of one faith group over the rest. The secular government should not interfere with the rights of individuals to make private moral decisions, such as whether to terminate a pregnancy. These are private choices that a woman should be free to make in consultation with her medical provider, her family, or, if she's so inclined, with her religion. As a rabbi, I myself have counseled several women and families who have faced these choices, and I know many women, including rabbinic colleagues, who have chosen to terminate a pregnancy. I will tell you that in every case, they have confided in me because they take their choice seriously and want to make ethical decisions grounded in Jewish values. No one I've ever met has taken that choice lightly. But laws are being passed in many states that punish those who aid women seeking reproductive health care, which means if these laws are allowed to stand, what is to stop the government from punishing me as a rabbi or other ministers and faith leaders who counsel women on the values and ethics of their own faith traditions? And where does it stop? If the constitutional right to privacy is struck down, what is to stop the government from outlawing circumcision or divorce? Think about it. If the government outlaws circumcision, saying, well, we're just trying to protect babies, we would see that as an affront to our religious liberty and the integrity of the body. What if the government were to go in the opposite direction and mandate the use of birth control to limit the number of children a family can have? Or what if the tables were turned and government influenced by Jewish law were to require abortion when the life of a mother is threatened? Right? What if there was a Jewish government that said you have to follow Jewish law? That would be equally wrong. Opponents of reproductive rights claim the mantle of religion. Indeed, laws recently passed in many states restricting access to abortion care explicitly reference Christian ideology and language. Without a doubt, our first concern should be for women who will be directly impacted by the overturning of Roe. But as Jews, I also urge us to be concerned for the implications of a ruling that would limit our ability to practice our religion. The fight over reproductive rights will continue, and I'm sure you will hear many arguments as we await a final decision from the Supreme Court. In the days and months ahead, I hope you will engage with this issue and take into account the perspective of women's rights advocates, legal scholars, and medical experts. But I also hope that today I've added something valuable and perhaps novel to the conversation. I hope that as Jews you will consider what Jewish tradition has to say on the topic and advocate for the interests of our people to live in a democratic society free of religious coercion. I will always defend the right of other religious traditions to promote their values in the public sphere, to speak loudly for what they believe. I will defend the rights of anybody of any faith who opposes abortion. But I will not defend the right of imposing those values on us enshrined in law. And that is the point of my sermon today. So I thank you for the opportunity. I thank you, Josh, too, for the opportunity to speak on this topic today. And I wish you a peaceful and Shabbat Shalom. Shkach. Okay. Yeah. We're going to continue now. We're going to conclude our service as we rise for Aleinu, followed by Mourner's Kaddish on page 205. Please rise.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latei gedula liyotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'vei haratzon, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo samcho keinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech
בתורתו וידעת יום
נאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 207. We invite mourners and those for whom it is your custom to remain standing. We bring to mind all of our loved ones who have left this world, and on this particular Shabbat, we remember Johanna Wall, Talia's mom, and of blessed memory. May her memory and all the memories of our loved ones be a blessing in our lives as we recite the Mourner's Kaddish on page 207. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה קירותי ועמליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם עולמי עולמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen. You can have a seat, Talia. Where'd Talia go? Come on over, Talia. We've got oh, yes, come on up.
Hi, Talia. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
And
Shalom.
Mazel Tov. It's so weird to seeing you today versus, it feels like the last time I saw you, we were in junior congregation. And I've known you for so long, and it's amazing to see you about Mitzvah. So I wanted to give you this T-shirt.
Jurassic Park.
And I hope that you'll join us in what will now be USY this upcoming year. We're all really proud of you, and Mazel Tov again, you did an amazing job.
Thank you, Shayna. And we present you with that T-shirt along with gifts of Judaica from the congregation, which we hope that you will use throughout your life. And I'll just have you stay up here for a minute. And just want to encourage you to check your service guides for upcoming programs and events, as well as our website. And I want to thank the Wall family for sponsoring Kiddush today. We invite you to join us after the service in the social hall. Thank you all for being here. We're going to conclude the service now with a closing song. I invite the davening team and Talia's family to come forward as we close our service together.
Say shalom bimroma, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei Te'el, ve'imru, amen. Shalom bimroma, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei Te'el, ve'imru,
Shabbat Shalom, Mazal Tov.
Shabbat Shalom.